Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking this time to join us for this Saturday edition of a lunch date with me, your host, Jenifer Smith, and welcome to the Black Love Expo. We're really excited to have everyone here today to just have a conversation about Black love, about relationships, sex, intimacy. Like, we're going to tie it all together in a very short time. So as people log on, please put yourself on mute. And if you want to put your camera on, that would be great, because this is going to be an interactive workshop. So I'd love to be able to see you and your partner, and so that we can see each other during this dialogue. So feel free to put your camera on if you feel safe. And if not, you can keep it off, but when we are having conversation, if you want to turn it on, that would be fine. So we'll give everybody a couple more minutes to log on. I know it's like 12:06, but we'll give a few more people a chance to log on and get settled. But in the meantime, feel free to go grab an adult beverage if you want, or some type of refreshment, because we're going to get into some juicy topics here in a minute, and definitely want to be relaxed and ready to talk. Sherelle, if you want to play the video again, just to give everybody a couple minutes to come in, that'd be great.
Can do.
If not, we can just get started.
Stay with me and you will see my arms will hold you, baby, never leave, 'cause I believe I'm in love, sweet love, help me running out your love, I feel no shame, I'm in love, sweet love. feel no shame. I'm in love, sweet love. Don't you ever go away, it'll always be this way. Sweet
All right. I am gonna share my screen here. All right. All right, well, welcome everyone to those who just logged on. I am Jenifer Smith. I will be the workshop facilitator today for this lunchtime date. Welcome to the Black Love Expo, hosted by the Black professional men, and they've created this awesome space to be able to talk about relationships. And I think that it's just so wonderful that we actually have a group of men that actually want to talk about relationships, because that's not often what we see. So I'm really excited about this space that they've created for us today. So to get into our workshop today, I want you and your partner to be connected. And so I want you to celebrate your relationship today and celebrate that you took the time to make a date today to spend time together to actually talk about your relationship with me. So I really would like it if you could check in on social media, let people know what you're doing for your relationship. I think that that is a big piece of what people stop doing when they get in a relationship. People, all you really hear is people talk about when the relationship is not going well. But how often do you hear when the relationship is going well? So I think it's awesome if people can check in on social media and let people know, like, I'm doing this for our relationship, or we had a lunch date today and I really made the time for my partner. I think that we have to promote that more. And that's going to get into a little bit more of our topic. So feel free to check in on Instagram or Facebook and hashtag Black Love Expo. Feel free to take pictures together and post them and put the hashtag. You might do that on a normal date when we were, allowed to go outside. So this is still considered a date. So you could take pictures and still post them, or send them to us and let us know, how you guys got prepared for today's date. Feel free to be affectionate. And have dialogue with each other, like off camera, about what we're talking about, because this is a date and it is your relationship, and we want you to be able to be in tune with your partner. That's really what we're building today. Share what you learned today with family and friends. I think it's important to be able to continue on the dialogue that we have here today, even when you're off camera, because it is something that we're trying to normalize. We're trying to normalize relationships and healthy relationships. So I think it's awesome when you can talk to family and friends about them, because you're just promoting that, and then they'll talk about it in their own relationships, and then it just keeps going. And we have to be supportive of others' relationships as well. That's what we're there for. So I encourage you to share what you've learned here today with them. And then there is a chat feature at the bottom of the screen, and you can pose questions in there. Our producer is Candace. You'll see Candace waving there on the screen. She will be monitoring the chat and kind of filtering the questions to me. And then I will get to them as we go along. Or if you want to use the raise your hand feature, you can do that as well, and I can answer your question as we're moving along. But there will be time for questions and answers at the end of the workshop. But I would like everybody to at least write in the chat today, like where you are currently at, because we're virtual, so you could be anywhere, what city you're in, and how long you and your partner have been together. And there will be some giveaways, so you might want to put your information in there. Because I brought lots of goodies to send to you. So, all right, so I'll introduce myself, and then maybe if we have some time, people can hop on and they can introduce themselves. So again, my name is Jenifer Smith, and I am a marriage and family, mental health, and sex therapist. Yes, I have a lot of credentials, but it all goes together for me. I really wanted to be an inclusive therapist. And when I was studying, I found that marriage and family and mental health all had some type of aspect that related to sex. And so I felt like it was really important to be able to get the sex therapy training so that I could help the families and couples and parents and singles in that area as well. So I am originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I'm just not too far away. I am currently residing in Alexandria, Virginia, where I work in private practice. And I used to live in Miami, Florida for the last 7 years. So I also am credentialed in Florida. So because of the pandemic, I am able to see clients from Florida through teletherapy. So if you are interested and you're in Florida and you would like to book a private session, please feel free to send me an email or a message through here to set up a session. But for those who might be local in the DMV area, I'm located in Alexandria, Virginia. So I see that there's some messages popping up from the chat. Candace, am I able to see that while I'm on here? I have the slideshow up.
Excuse me, I will change your permissions.
I didn't know if I have to get out of this to be able to see it. Oh, okay, there they go. All right, so let's see, who do we have here? Oh, I'm from Brooklyn, but I live in Hyattsville, Maryland. Okay, awesome, welcome. Shreya from Silver Spring. Brianna's from Baltimore. Awesome. Okay, so we got some local people. Columbia, Maryland. Awesome. Okay. Would anybody like to actually like take themselves off, put your video on and actually introduce you and your partner to the group? Anybody? This is going to be interactive, y'all, so you might want to just get started because I'm definitely an interactive facilitator. So would anybody like to get off camera, put your camera on and introduce you and your partner? That'd be great. Okay, the first person to get on and introduce them and their partner will win. I have some sex toys that I'm willing to give away today. So if anybody wants to hop on camera first, you could get some prizes. Oh, Bernice. All right, Bernice is first. Okay, Bernice, go ahead and introduce us.
Yes,
introduce yourself.
Looking all raggedy, but you know what? I'll get up on camera real quick for y'all.
Well, you look beautiful.
Thank you. So my name is Bernice. I like I shared, I recently moved to Hyattsville from Brooklyn, New York. I invited someone that I'm actually talking to right now. He's from Maryland, but he's from Brooklyn, but he lives in Maryland, and we met in April. So during this whole pandemic situation, so we are actually taking a step back because he wanted to get more serious. He's not on here right now. He's
okay
with me. So I'm open to, I'm willing to be vulnerable here.
Yes, please. We love that.
Yeah, so he asked me to be his girlfriend, and it's only been 3 weeks, and I told him we need to take a step back because there's just some things that, as far as communication wise, that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
So consistency and communication is like top, in regards to a relationship, and I don't feel fulfilled in those areas, and it's only been 3 weeks, so we're taking it a step back.
Okay. Well, way to communicate for yourself. That's amazing.
Yeah. So that's super important for me. So yeah. So that's it. So
Awesome.
we're back into like the talking and dating phase. I'm like, listen, we're in a pandemic, and it's, you know, there's certain things that we can do to see each other, because he's an hour away as well. So there's certain things that we can do to see each other without it having to be so strung up on like, oh, it has to be a restaurant, we need to go date, all these things. So yeah, so that's that.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bernice. I will send you a message, or Candace can send you a message privately to get your information, and I will send you your prize.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Anybody else want to get on and introduce themselves or their partner? I mean, I still have more prizes, but if nobody else wants to get on, that's fine. We'll just keep on moving. All right. Well, Bernice kind of jumped right into actually what our topic today is about, which is, are your needs being met? And I'm excited to hear that already somebody has been communicating what their needs are. And I think that that's so important in any relationship, whether it's it's a personal relationship, or it's a romantic relationship, or it's a sexual relationship. Yeah, it's really important to communicate that. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I see it in 3 different ways. I see it personal, relationship, and sexual needs, because as I've been a therapist, those are usually what I've seen presented. Is people usually don't know what their personal needs are, which then kind of bleeds over into they don't know what their relationship needs are, definitely don't know what their sexual needs are. So it's like we always have to start with ourselves first, because that is the first relationship you should be having before getting into the other relationships. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I do want this part to really be interactive, so I hope people will at least take themselves off of mute and participate. Okay, so do you actually know what your personal needs are? And I want you to think about that for a second. And if you have any paper or pen or something, write it down or put it in the notes in your phone or something like that. Do you know what your personal needs are? And if you do, what are they? Because this is super important when going into a relationship, because this is oftentimes how I see people end up in toxic relationships, is because they don't know what their actual basic needs are. So they end up being with someone that doesn't fulfill anything, and then it ends up turning into a toxic situation. So I'd love for people to be able to talk to me about what they feel their personal needs are. So would anybody like to take themselves off of mute and let me know if they do? And for some people, this might be a really easy task, and for some people, this might be a really hard task. So let me know that too. I see Angela's put her camera on, so I hope that this means she wants to have a dialogue.
Hi, Jenifer.
Hi, Angela.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Sure. So that's an interesting question, right? I think that I used to think I knew what my needs were in the past. Actually, I've been in my relationship for 2 years. He's not here now. We ended up getting quarantined separately.
Okay. Okay.
But so I thought I knew, and then got into my relationship and started just doing more work on me. And then I was like, oh, wait, I don't know that I completely understand what my needs are versus what people have told me my needs should be. And so honestly, for the past, I'd say 6 months, that's been a lot of what my work has been focused on, as far as unpacking what I really need versus what I may have taken on based on, social conditioning and whatnot.
Yeah, that's a huge, huge part. No, so let me ask you, how hard is it to be unpacking that while in a relationship?
It's super hard. He thinks I'm crazy. He thinks I've lost my ever.
That is a really hard task to pull off. This is why I always advise people to do the work when you're single, because when it's a relationship, it's super hard. Super hard.
I mean, I'm lucky he's being very patient, right? And I think he appreciates that I tend to be a very methodical, logical person, and I don't like to react out of emotion. So I spend a lot of time like in my head thinking about it, trying emotions on, seeing how it sits before I even approach him with things. But then when I approach him with something, he knows, okay, so this is really important to her because she doesn't frivolously come to me with issues, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the trade-off there. But
Okay.
yeah, like, okay, so what'd you and your therapist talk about this week? Well,
So because you've been doing the work on yourself now, what have you identified as your personal needs?
so we've been working a lot on core values, right? And I'm trying to like get the list down. But one thing that is coming out of it that I think I didn't like to acknowledge before was I guess I'm needy. Like I need affection. I need personal attention. I need quality time. Like I need a partnership that is so almost that is so in tune with one another that I can be completely, I think I called it naked, completely naked, transparency with you, right? And so I was like, where I think we failed in our relationship because we've been long distance for so long, that physical distance created an emotional distance, which
Yeah.
now we're trying to like work on and fix because without that connection, without that physical touch and emotional connection, it just has not been, it's been difficult. And so I'm starting to learn, oh, I really do need that. And I think before, particularly when I was in my 20s, you don't want to seem needy. So I never acknowledged that was actually a need of mine.
Yeah, that's really important. And it's funny because when you were saying that you were doing the work, oftentimes I see when people are doing the work that like they ultimately end up splitting up because they're like, oh, this is actually not what I was looking for. This does not match exactly what my needs are. And I love that you know what that is now for you, but it's not needy. That's your love language, is quality time and being affectionate. So like, and that's perfectly fine as long as he knows how to work your love language.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really excited that you're working on that.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I was having a conversation with my mom yesterday when I told her, I was like, because I'm moving to Atlanta to be with him, right? So we won't have a physical distance anymore. But I was telling her, I was thinking, it's weird that I'm moving to be with him when I'm not even sure that the relationship is going to last because we're so different and I'm so different in the past 6 months. I was like, we'll see how it goes, but it'll be a good experiment.
I would say so. You definitely need to have the conversation of what are his needs also going into this relationship. I mean, like as you move, because the needs are going to change. So I think like, and if you're in therapy, so I would definitely try to include him in some therapy sessions before that transition happens.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea.
It's too hot.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Angela. Anybody else want to come on and talk about their needs? Do they actually know what they are? Anybody else know what their needs are? Or you had an idea what you thought what they were?
This is Bernice again. I know for sure, like, as far as what I need and the reason why I asked to step back was because the issue, like basic communication, like I'll tell y'all what happened. This is what happened, okay? That I felt like, okay, this, I'm not sure if this is going to actually work for me. So, I actually had a conversation with him this week about like just catching up, and we had a really rough weekend. He's a veteran, so his emotions and then my emotions. I had some family drama last week, so we didn't talk for the whole weekend. So it was just some consistency issues that just really threw me off. That even through our pain, we didn't talk to each other. And so that really made me feel not only unappreciated as someone you're supposed, you are choosing to be in a relationship with, like you want to be open and honest about certain things. But I just felt like I was on a back burner. And I'm like, if we can't start the relationship this way, especially if we're gonna trying to make this long term, like if there's something going on, we just have to talk to each other about it. So I just felt, and I can take some fault in that too, but I just wish the initiation was there for both of us to be more open and honest about what we were going through.
Yeah, I think that that's super important. Thank you, Bernice. I think that that's very vital. If you can't talk to one another, then you don't have a relationship to build off of, right? Like that has to be there. And I think it sounds like you've been through enough to know in the past that that's something super important to you now.
Yes.
Which I think is how we evolve what our needs are also, is some of the experiences that we've been through that solidify, like, I know that I need somebody who I can trust and be honest with and can have real conversations with. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Bernice.
You're welcome.
Okay. I think in a lot of relationships, especially with the couples that I've worked with, is that they don't often know what their needs are because they've become so focused on what their partner's needs are. And if you're a parent, on what the kids' needs are. And they just deprioritize themselves. And if that's you in this workshop, please feel free to chime in, because it is easy to get lost in the shuffle of taking care of a partner or a family. And so, but you still have to know what your own needs are, and you have to have that personal relationship with yourself so that you can even add more to the relationship. When you get lost in the shuffle, you kind of lose the energy. And we want to be able to keep that energy up as much as we can. I would love to know how people's needs have changed during the pandemic, because this is the only time that literally everybody is going through the exact same thing. Although it's on different levels. Some people have lost their jobs. Some people have, lost their homes. People are at home teaching their kids. So everybody's needs have changed quite a bit because of this disruption of life. And in a relationship where both people may be stressed because of the pandemic, the needs are definitely going to change. So I'd love to know if anybody has really felt that shift in their relationship, that the pandemic is just kind of taking a toll on it. I mean, I can see God's name. Okay, I was gonna say I could call people out.
Sorry, I was gonna say that I don't know that my needs have necessarily changed, but it highlighted some things that I overlooked. Like before, when we first started dating, we had amazing communication, and then at some point in our relationship, it became almost like checking in, like things to do today, go to the grocery store, take the dog out, call your significant other, see how their day went, go to bed, right? Like it was like the check off thing to do. And so we kind of just got out of trying to talk every day because we had nothing to talk about. Like it became routine as opposed to I'm looking forward to talking to you. And I found that I started to realize that I actually got really angry with him because when we talked, there wasn't a real connection. It was a to-do list, right? Of tell me about your day. It was a recitation of everything he did and recitation of everything I did with him half listening. And it just wasn't a connection. And so I guess I just learned that those conversations don't serve me. I don't need to talk to him every day if the conversations aren't going to be
quality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so was he receptive to that when you had that conversation with him?
He actually was. I mean, I think he was scared to bring it up to me, and he was relieved when I brought it up. He was like, yeah. Some days I just feel like, this is something I got to do. Let me do this real quick. So she knows I'm thinking about her, right? I just have all these other things to do and I don't actually have anything to talk about. And I'm like, totally get it. Me either. I'd rather sit here and watch TV. and that's I had to get okay with that being okay, and it didn't mean that something was necessarily wrong with us.
Right. And do you find because of, like, I don't know what your quarantine situation is, but do you find that you guys are talking more now?
Yes and no. Actually, probably a little bit less, but when
Okay.
we speak less frequently, but when we do speak, it's for longer periods.
Okay. Okay. So maybe it sounds like the quality has been like the quality in the longer conversations is more of what you were looking for.
Exactly. So, because when we first started dating, we'd be on the phone legit for like 4, 5, 6 hours at a time, right? And then, of course, 2 years in, those 6-hour conversations become like 45 minutes, maybe 2 hours, something like that. Then it became like 15 minutes. Now it's back to, we may not speak every day, but it may be every 2 days we talk, but it's a 3-hour conversation because we just feel like we have something to catch up on and things to talk about.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you, it's funny because I'm going to get to that in the next slide of, I don't want to I'm afraid to have this conversation because I'm not sure how the other person's going to respond, but I'm glad that, like each of you were okay with stepping outside of that box to communicate, like, this is what I actually need from you. And then it ended up working out for the better. That's really great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. Okay. So now that if somebody made a list, if anybody on here made their list of their needs, do you feel like most of them are being met? And you can feel free to put that in the chat if you want. If it's yes, no, half and half, I would love to know, like, if people really feel like they are being met. Because I think that's important too. This whole pandemic is a time of reflection and restructuring your life as you know it, for sure. So I think that these are like really important just conversations to have with yourself of like, where is this life going? Like, where are these goals? What are my needs? What do I really want to be doing? Like, this is the time to be able to just slow it down a bit and think about it. So yeah, I hope people are doing that. So relationship needs, we've talked a little bit about them, but I want to get a little deeper. And as we go into like the next couple slides, like, we're definitely going to dive in a little deeper. So have you discussed what your needs are in the relationship? And if so, have you had that conversation more than once? So I bring this up because I think it goes back to what Bernice was saying, is like, this is the beginning of the relationship, and she already said what she needed, and then they had to take a step back. But I think it's so important to be able to talk about this in the first couple of dates, because it really filters out if you're going to get what you need out of that particular person. So I think it's something that a conversation you should be having more than once, because everybody's needs change as months go on, years go on, job changes, personality changes, like, your needs are going to change. So this conversation should be an evolving conversation as long as you are together. So yes, can anybody on here say that they have actually had this conversation with their partner? And if you have, do you know what their needs are in the relationship? I mean, I can call people out by name if nobody wants to unmute themselves. Terrell, we need a guy. We need a guy's perspective here. Okay. He.
How you doing?
Hi,
Can you hear
Terrell.
me?
Good. How are you?
To answer your question, me and my wife have discussed our needs and how they've changed over the years. We've been together for a little bit now, and believe me, things change from when you're first meet, your first date, your boyfriend and girlfriend, you're engaged, now you're married. It's like, holy, who are you now? I mean, it just be quite frank, but and honestly, you go through rough patches and times like, I really don't like you right now. So
Right? That's real.
the thing is, you have to sit down and say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, and this is what I need. And I know for me, my wife wants more attention, more quality time, and things of that nature. Sometimes I just need some silence because I work full time and have a couple businesses, and sometimes you walk in the house is like unload time on me. I'm like,
Right.
whoa, I just got in the house. Can we like take it slow? I mean,
Uh-huh.
I got it. And I think that sometimes for me, I'm a person of few words. I say what I have to say it succinctly, and I'm done. She talks and likes to express, and me trying to understand that sometimes she needs to express herself. She needs me to just to listen and be present. It's hard for me. I'm like, I heard you say that already. I've told you what you should do. I'm done with it. And people aren't like that. So,
Right.
and you have to understand that, and it's very troublesome. But I want to go back to that point. I think one of the ladies mentioned she was dating a veteran or something like
Mhm.
that, and she was kind of concerned with the communication. He wasn't communicating with her. Sometimes for men is we don't want to dump our burdens on you or kind of express how we feel about something if we're going through something. Because sometimes a woman can look at that as a weakness from a man because you're putting your burden on me, even though you might not feel that way. He might feel that way, or just personally, he has been raised that, hey, you're supposed to handle your own business. You shouldn't be complaining to a woman or whoever you're dating about your problems. So I think from a male's perspective, that can be what's going on. Also, if he was in the military or still in, we're a different breed and we don't really our communication skills are not the best. They're very direct and very, it can be very sometimes abrasive or sometimes silent because we don't want to say anything because if we can't fix the issue, why are we really talking about it? So
That's real. That's real. So Terrell, how do you communicate to your wife that you need that silence? Like that's something you need for you. And if she was to give it to you, you could be more receptive to listening to her.
I just have to tell her, but sometimes she doesn't listen. She'll just, she doesn't care, like whatever. I mean, sometimes you have to break away and do work from other spaces because you're in a marriage and a relationship, so that person wants to talk and deal with you. So you should be grateful they want to talk with you, they want to be around you. But sometimes you just need silence.
Yes. Yes.
And that's a tug of war. Honestly, you're gonna if you deal with somebody that is different from you, you're gonna struggle with that your whole relationship. You just have to kind of accept who they are and make do. Because I'll be quite frank with you, people don't. I think, in my opinion, I don't think people's. I mean, people could adjust things, but who they are to their core. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you have to compromise and make do.
Right, right. Well, I'm glad that thank you for coming on camera. I appreciate it. But I'm so glad that you said that like the needs change so much from as the statuses change in the relationship. I'm so glad that you said that because it is so true. So, so true. Thank you so much, Terrell.
You're welcome.
The ladies are loving you on the chat. Okay. Yeah, I think that those are such great points, and it does change, and that's why I'm saying that the conversation about the needs of the relationship should be evolving. Okay, so what do you need from your partner to be happy and satisfied in this relationship? So I made this question thinking that most people were actually going to be with their partners, but I see that is not the case. So you can tell me, what do you need to be happy and satisfied in your current relationship? What is that for you? And do you think that your answer is the same as your partner's or different? I see some other people on here. Lenora, we haven't heard from you. Would you like to take yourself off of mute and let us know what you want and what you need in your relationship to be happy and satisfied? Me or anybody else? Thank you, Lenora.
You're welcome. Let's see. What do I need from my partner to be happy? First, I need my partner to be happy with themselves,
Mm,
to love themselves
yeah.
so that they can share that love with me
Mm,
and I can share it with them. I was married before, and I always say from that experience, be careful what you pray for because you just may get it. So I am very specific about what I say now.
okay.
I wanted to be married on my 30th birthday because my birthday is Valentine's Day. God blessed me with that. I was married to my daughter's father, but did not heed the signs. Wanted what I wanted.
Mm,
And because I loved and what I thought I saw was a love, then I was happy and content.
mm,
And my marriage didn't last 30 days. And when I say that, people are like, what? Are you serious? Like, really?
wow.
Because we were not equally yoked.
Mm,
I'm a very determined, self-motivated, encouraging, and empowering person for myself and other people. That's just what God purposed me to wake up to do every morning.
mm-hmm.
But if the person does not love self first,
Right.
if people are, and I'm not saying that the person I was married to was a bad person. And I tell people now that the person you are took you all these years to get this way. So I'm okay with that because you're okay with that. You just can't be in my space.
Mm,
So I'm okay with people being who they are, but not connected to me.
yes.
So I look for a whole person, and I get it. We all have our issues, right? We all come with every person that we've been connected to, family, friend, community, work, all of that. We bring all those pieces into who we are. That's why I'm so protective of my space now.
Mhm.
So I have standards. Like at this point in your life, or in my life, let me talk about Lenora, so nobody has to talk about them.
Okay.
Words from my pastor. I just want a person to be whole, own up to whatever may be wrong, deal with whatever happened in the past so that they can heal.
Mm-hmm.
We all are broken in some ways. I don't care how much therapy you have. I don't care how much prayer you do. We all have some issues, right? Being transparent.
Yeah.
But just being able to heal past most of them, be able to talk about them or deal with them, or have someone that you can be transparent with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Really
Telling them what your needs are and say, can you meet my needs? Like you may not be able to check off every single thing, but I'm okay with not being in a relationship most times because I'm so busy. But it's those intimate times, and I'm not talking about just sex. I'm talking about hand holding, going out to a movie, going out to dinner, just walking in the park, going to a museum. So I'm okay with being by myself, and yet in quiet moments, I'm not. Like this pandemic thing, quietness has me just thinking about so many things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, what could I have done differently? What can I do the same? Are these realistic expectations? And yes, they are, because I've had the things that I desire.
Right.
Relationships just did not last. Because if you're not equally yoked, if you're not on the same page, and I'm not even talking about having the same career, having the same interests, none of that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not equally yoked and ready to pour into this relationship, right, just to stay connected with one another and just know each other's idiosyncrasies, or know what encourages somebody, or what to say and what not to say, what to do and what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships are so wonderful when they're healthy, and I actually teach workshops on healthy relationships. So in the training, I learned how to be in a healthy relationship. I learned how to say, this is what I want, and if you can't give it, it's okay, because it took you all this time to be who you are. And some people don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that. So Jenifer, you can talk about that. Like some people don't get it when you're just honest, not brutally honest, just
Right.
kind of honest. you're who you are, and that's okay. Like
Yes.
they would rather argue than take that kind gesture of it's okay.
Yeah.
Why is that? Please explain that to me.
No.
Man, you should have kept me on mute. See how I talk?
No, thank you, Lenore. I think that's I love that answer because I think that's probably what I see a lot of in therapy is that people don't know their own worth. They don't have high self-esteem, and that's why they end up with people that are toxic or that are just not a match for them. And I think that that's important for even all of us that are on this chat is that is part of the need is that you need to have that intimacy with yourself. You need to have this very honest, transparent relationship with yourself about your own things. I think, who was that? Who was that earlier that said that they were in therapy and working through their own stuff from the past? I think that that's really important because you're healing. And that's something more that you're going to be able to add to your partner. And I love what Lenora said about, I need you to be whole so that you can give me some of that love. I think that that's awesome. That's really awesome. Okay, let's keep going so we can get to the sex part, my favorite part. Have you discussed your relationship needs during the pandemic? Because obviously things have changed. And I think that couple people already talked about that. Certainly everybody's needs are going to be very different now in these times, especially if there's been some financial changes, people are quarantined separately, so there's going to be some emotional and physical changes. And you have to communicate your needs because we don't know how long this period of time is going to go on or if it will come back again, and then how that is going to shift your relationship. So I think it's important to be having those dialogues during this time of quarantine with your partner, and also asking like, where's this relationship going? What else do we want to do with it? I think that's also important. And then how do you respond if your needs are not met versus when they are? Because I think that Terrell kind of talked about that of, if his wife would maybe give him the space to have his silence when he first came in the house, he could be more available to talk to her when she's ready to unload on him. But that doesn't happen. So then he's always feeling frustrated because he gets bombarded when he comes in, and then he's like, I just want silence. So I think it's really important to know, to explain to your partner of, these are my needs. If you can't meet them, I understand that, but let me tell you how it's going to probably look like, what it's going to look like when they're not met versus when they are. Because that also gives people more insight, but it also more is an incentive of how, if they know you're going to respond a certain way, they're going to try to deliver. And if the outcome is not as great, they're still going to try to deliver because they're trying to avoid that. So it's still good to be able to communicate to your partner, like what my needs look like. This is what happens when they're met. This is what happens when they're not met. And talk about maybe some fears from the past as well, of what's happened in the past and that when they weren't met, this was the result. So I think that those are important too. Oh. All right, our sexual needs, my favorite topic. So I know that some people, this will be very, very personal and they may not want to disclose. So you can feel free to put this in the chat or take yourself off of mute or put your camera on. But sexual needs are something that I hear all the time or that are not being met. Most of my couples coming in are talking about one partner wants to have sex all the time, the other one could go without, or they want their partner to try some new things and the other person doesn't. So like I hear about the sexual needs not being met a lot of the time. But I also tell them we have to focus on the other areas that we've already covered here, the personal and relational needs, before we can even get to the sexual needs. We can't go backwards. So are you currently happy with your sex life? If anybody wants to chime in and let me know if they are. If you are, great. If you're not, let's talk about it. Either way, I want to know if you're happy with your current sex life. And it could be because of the pandemic. You might be quarantined separately and you might not be happy about that. So Let's talk about it. Carla, you look like you're thinking. Take yourself off of mute.
No, I'm not happy.
Okay, all right. So why are you not happy?
It's a little different for me. Divorced the last 4 years.
Okay.
After being married for 21.
Ooh, okay.
And so it's kind of one of those things to where you have your walls up, very selective. I'm a life coach, so I've done a very big journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I guess since we're talking about sex, in my younger days, I call myself a recovering hoe, if we just want to put
I love that.
And so I really do, I love sex. In my relationship, sex was not an issue. And so it's difficult because how do you recover from having actually a very active sex life to pretty much non-existent? So, and I'm okay with it because I understand why I don't have a very active sex life. So it comes with boundaries. I think as you kind of discover who you are in your singleness, and understanding your worth and your value, while I would like to have a lot more sex, I'm okay with not having it because I know my why.
Well, my follow-up question is, are you having sex with yourself at least?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because listen, we may not be happy with the sex life that we have because we don't have a partner, but we can be happy with our masturbation life. We can be happy with that. I tell people there is no shortage in that. Okay,
no, there is
that to yourself all day long.
Exactly. No, I actually think that's really important because that was one of the things that I used to love was having sex toy parties. When I was married. And it's funny because I love the Lord and the Lord loves me, but I think the Lord created our bodies and he knows what we need. And so I think that's the whole sex conversation is something that we need to have a lot more often because especially for women, we are not really taught about our bodies. We're not taught that it's okay to have certain desires.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to have the conversation about what you need and how you need to be touched. And if anything, it actually makes for a better sex life.
Absolutely.
So I love this conversation.
Oh, thank you. No, I absolutely agree. That is why I got into being, into sex therapy and wanting to talk more about it because, there were not women that look like me promoting sexual health or sexual wellness or talking about empowering about your body. Sex education, they don't cover intimacy, orgasms, masturbation, oral sex, or anal.
No.
These are all very important topics in your sexual adult life. And I think that it's just so important to be able to talk about those things with friends and with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I really try to normalize. So, but I'm glad to hear that you're at least giving it to yourself until you have a partner.
Yes.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you.
I think that it's really important to be able to talk about this with your partner. And for some people, they feel really uncomfortable having this conversation with their partner because it's so intimate. But you have to make the space safe to have the conversation. Most people don't feel comfortable because they might have already had this conversation with somebody in the past and it's gone terrible. Someone's gotten angry, someone ridiculed them or called them names or something like that, and then they no longer feel like it's safe to bring things like this up. So I think that that's one part of why people don't do it. The other part I hear a lot of is gender roles. Women are taught you give your man sex all the time. Don't worry about if you're getting pleasured. You make sure that he gets off. And that's just not accurate at all. It should be a shared experience. That's why there's 2 of you or 3 of you or 4 of you, however you live your life. But you are a lover and you should be making sure that person is just pleasurable. It's their pleasure just like you are. and that you're both enjoying the experience. So I think it's really, really important to be real open and receptive to whatever feedback or suggestions someone's giving you, because they are literally not satisfied with what's happening. So we have to be able to be receptive to what they're saying. That's why you're in this relationship. And negotiate a compromise. If somebody brings something to the table and you don't feel comfortable with that, negotiate of what the middle looks like. You're like, I'm not really ready to go there, but I'm willing to go here. And then it also makes your partner feel heard, validated, and you're both willing to do something different to increase your sexual experience. So I think that also is just super important for people to consider. It doesn't have to be a hard no off top, but negotiate a compromise. That's what relationships are about, a lot of compromise. If you don't communicate your needs, nothing will ever be met. So please, please, please try to communicate your needs to your partner. And if you can't, you can always have a therapist. That's what we're here to do. So at this time, we're going to move on and have a brief intermission where the vendor will come on and she is going to talk about corsets. So this might be part of your sexual needs if you want to dress up. So we're going to have a vendor. She'll come on, talk about her product. And then after that, we'll come back and I will talk about, actually, I'm doing Q&A. So if anybody has any questions, comments, or you want to know about some of the other toys I have, save them for after the break and I will do Q&A. So I will turn it over to our vendor.
Get myself off of mute. Hello, hi everybody. How are you? This is a really spirited conversation. Like I just jumped in and I was like, oh wow, like they are really going there. I really appreciate that. Like she was saying, the openness is definitely appreciated, especially at this time when people feel like even though we're not, I guess it's just such a weird time. So I mean, to be able to connect is definitely important, especially with not just with our intimate partners, but with other people as well. So definitely appreciate that, Jenifer. Very helpful. But yeah, so I wanted to tell you guys about our product. We have our product is Sex Ready Lips. So we have a lip line product. Just a little bit about us. We are a premier online beauty and wellness destination. So right now we've started out with our lip line. We have Red Vixen, which is our premier color, which I'm wearing right now. And so basically what our intention is to have this for just everyday woman. I mean, you can wear it definitely with like your jeans or or if you're, you know, going to work or whatever event you may be attending, but it's definitely designed for that intimate time between you and your partner. So you know, we as women, we know that when we want to get sexy or whatever we're feeling, like our lipstick definitely makes a statement. And red, of course, is, you know, a sexy color. So why not put that fire red on for those fiery times, you know? But so I just wanted to give you all a brief just overview of it. So our lipstick is long wear, it's long lasting. It's also moisture rich. It has vitamin E, jojoba oil. It also has hyaluronic acid, which is really good to keep the lips plump and supple. So when you are doing your get down thing or whatever it is that you do, you still feel sexy as well. Because you never know. I mean, even if depending on what you have on or don't have on, you always want to have a sexy lip, right? I mean, because I see the ladies on here, and I'm saying, especially Candace, I'm liking your lip, and Jenifer, I see that color as well. So we definitely wanted to put that out there, and as a special offer to those of you who are attending this event, we're going to give you all an opportunity to try the product for free. So all you would have to do is follow us on IG, Instagram at Sex Ready Lips. and just DM us your mailing info, and we will send you the product so you can try. And definitely give us some feedback about it. Like, what do you like about it? And if there are some other colors that you would suggest as well that you feel are sexy that we can put in the line. And we will also be having lingerie coming soon, as well as some other goodies for, the ladies. And I see a gentleman in there with Sherelle. but yeah, so definitely wanted to let you guys know about that product. And even when we're living out in this quarantine mask life, where we can't even really show our lips. I mean, there are times when we can social distance and take the mask off, and we still can have a nice, pop of color there. A pretty red, which it's not 100% smudge proof, so I don't want to say that. But I definitely want to let you know you can wear it under your mask without a problem and still feel pretty and sexy. And then when you come home, add another coat or two, and who knows what happens in the bedroom. but yeah, so you don't forget to follow us at Sex Ready Lips on Instagram to get your complimentary lipstick for attending today, and make sure you DM us your mailing information so we can get that out to you as soon as possible, and definitely give us your feedback. So really appreciate it. Jenifer, thank you, appreciate the time, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the event.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Thank you.
I'm excited to try it because, so for the last 3 years, I've been teaching a fellatio class. And
Okay.
every time I teach this class, I always have to take off my lipstick because I never find a lipstick that doesn't smudge or rub off when I'm,
Right. When you're
and so
exactly
I'm like,
when you're doing your job.
Yeah, when I'm doing my job.
Of
So
course.
I need a good solid lipstick that I can use during my workshop that's not gonna come off on my props.
Exactly.
So yeah,
it's definitely designed with that in mind. So like I said, it's long wear, it's long lasting, it's cruelty free, so it's not animal tested or anything like that.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely. It comes in a cute little, I don't know if you guys can see it, but
oh, cute.
Sexy kind of, lipstick. So
yeah,
it's always nice to have something cute to pull out your purse. I feel like a lot of times we as women is like, we can't, I don't know, our femininity is sometimes under attack. Like if, sometimes you just want to be feminine and be a girl and have your lipstick on, or, and so sexy. And definitely lipstick helps women feel confident. I know for me it does. So.
Yeah, no, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Ladies, I mean, we have no excuses now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So there's some questions for you in the chat. Let's see here. One person said anything for numbing.
For me, are you talking to me?
Yes.
No, not at this time, but we are building out our line. So we're starting out with the lipstick, and then we're going to keep it going. But we'll have other products available though. But that's a good suggestion. So
that's really
things
good.
like that, can those types of feedback, that's what we need. So definitely let us know.
And then Candace asked, is there any particular way you would like us to test these lips?
You know what? I'm going to leave that up to you. And then what I will say is, let us know how it worked for you.
That's it. That's all the questions. Thank you so much, Molly. I really appreciate it.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen in there.
Right, they can get it for their woman too. Listen, it's a good gift. It's a good
Of course, always, definitely.
Great gift.
Yeah.
Of course.
Carla, did you have a question for Molly?
Well, I've actually sampled it, and I have to tell you it's wonderful. It's very nice. When I got it and I let my friend try it, all day you walk around like this. Because most lipsticks, liquid lipsticks now, they're super dry. Your lips crack after a while. I even tried the eating test. It stays. Yes. And of course, at some point you do have to reapply.
Right, naturally.
But for the most part, it really does feel good going on and staying on.
Yes, thank you,
So
Carla. We
I'm
appreciate
excited
that.
about more colors coming out. I really, really am.
Oh, good. Yeah, we definitely look forward to it. Because we love to hear feedback like that and those types of reviews. So yeah,
Hmm.
we appreciate it.
Thank you. And I think one of the biggest things too, especially for women, is like you said earlier, Jenifer, like when you're doing your job and you always have to take your lipstick off. And
Yeah.
so that's one of the things is a lot of times you don't want to feel like, oh my God, I'm in the moment. Let me wipe my lipstick off because I don't want
Right.
it to be everywhere. Or you go to
Right.
just randomly kiss someone, it's like, ugh, and you get the old grandmother rub because
Right.
all of their lipstick came off on your cheek. And
Right.
so I have to admit, I was that person that kept doing, oh my God, I don't see anything. And
Yeah.
so it really, it is pretty much just about smudge proof.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Long wear and long lasting, definitely. That was our goal. And so I'm glad to hear that
You
you're,
guys succeeded.
definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Awesome. 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 Okay. Well, we will get into Q&A then, and then we'll have another vendor, and then we'll wrap up. So,
Hey Jennifer, real quick, do you mind doing like a quick like summary of what you've discussed? We have
yeah,
some people that just got on, and I just want to catch them up to speed.
sure. Yeah. So for those who have joined us, I'll put my slides back up. Okay, let me share my screen again. This new world we're living in, I can't believe we're doing all this online. Okay, so to summarize those who are just joining us, we've been talking about, are your personal needs being met? And we've broken it down into personal needs, relationship needs, and sexual needs, because they're all important in a relationship. And so in our personal needs, we talked about, do you know what they actually are? Do you know what your own personal needs are? Do you prioritize others over yourself? Which also might be a need that you have to put on your list. However, needs change during the pandemic, because everybody's life has been disrupted to some degree. So your needs may have changed. And just letting other people know what your needs are really important. Relationship needs, it's important to talk about what you need from your partner and what your partner needs from you in order to make the relationship healthy and successful. And then just letting them know what you need to be happy and satisfied, because you're entitled to that in a relationship. And then talking about your sexual needs, we want to make sure that everybody's having a pleasurable experience with the sexual relationship, and being heard about what they like and dislike, and communicating that and being open to hearing feedback and suggestions from your partner. So that's to summarize what we've already talked about. And now we're going to get into Q&A. So if anybody has any questions for me, please feel free to ask whatever you want, because essentially this is free therapy right now. So feel free to ask.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I kind of said, we, my partner and I, we've had an interesting past 6 months, right? Where we went through, I would say, a period where our relationship went from being kind of easy and fun, and oh my gosh, we were hitting on, we're hitting on all cylinders all the time, to we hit like some actual rough patches where life happened, and we're fine, but it definitely, we have to get back to the fun, and we're going to try to figure that out once we're in the same city. But originally we were supposed to be moving in together.
Right.
At the last minute, we kind of made the change of, I don't think we're ready to move in together.
Okay.
I personally did not feel safe in the relationship, as far as, psychologically, emotionally. And I was like, I don't want to move into your house and be quarantined with you.
Ooh, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. Do you want to be quarantined with this person? Okay.
And so I guess I'm thinking, I'm at a point where, I love him, right? We definitely, we know we have chemistry. We don't know if we're compatible, and we're trying to figure that out. And so I guess I'm just curious about knowing that we want to eventually potentially move in together and get married. What are some things we should be thinking about, or how do we go about testing out how compatible we are?
Mm-hmm. Well, I certainly think that you made a good decision by not going if you don't feel safe. But I think that that's even a bigger question of what makes you not feel safe in the relationship after this period of time that you wouldn't want to be quarantined with him, because that's a bigger question for me of why you don't feel safe. And I would love for you to be able to explore that, because that got to come before the are we compatible? Because if you don't feel safe, it doesn't matter if you're compatible. Your safety comes first.
Yeah, and I think when I say safe, I mean so this, I should also preface, this is my first, I think, real relationship, I'll say, as far as long term. I typically have a bad habit of running, right? Particularly when things get hard. And so I think this is the first time I've ever stayed when things have gotten difficult. And I guess that's what I mean by not feeling safe. This is a very unusual space for me. And I just don't know how to navigate it, honestly. And it makes me just feel uncomfortable. And because we've had such a huge physical distance, and then we had the emotional distance come up at the top of the year, I just didn't think at this point we're in the best place. I didn't feel good moving in, right? It didn't excite me. I didn't feel good about it. I'm not sure if that helps at all.
Yeah, so you're wanting to get reconnected emotionally. What do you feel like you need from him to get that emotional closeness?
I think more quality time and connection, and the ability to really communicate, like be honest about some things that we've gone through, and it not be a session where he feels like I'm picking on him or vice versa, or he's shutting down on me, but like really talk through it and feel seen and heard. So I went through like a medical scare at the beginning of the year, and I think he thinks he was supportive, and I think he was probably as supportive as he knew how to be, but it didn't match up with my needs, right? And so
have you communicated that to him?
No, I haven't. And that's primarily because I'm just now coming to the realization of, oh wait, that was a gap that wasn't filled, and that's probably why I'm feeling a lot of this, a lot of these emotions. So yes, definitely that needs to be communicated to him. So I'm not really sure how to communicate that to him, but yeah.
Well, I think just you articulated it beautifully. I think really explaining to him of, I would like us to be closer emotionally, and for me, this is what I need from you. And then you kind of set it up for him to be able to give you, a list of what his needs are. But you articulated it wonderful. So you can do that. You can literally pose it like that, or you can use us as a way to pose it of, hey, I sat in on this workshop today and it got me thinking about us and our relationship. And I just want to talk to you about some of the ways that we can get back on track so that we can move forward with moving in, or what you need from him to feel safe and emotionally close so that you feel more 100% with making this decision.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope that helps.
No, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for that question. And that's what takes a lot of guts. A lot of people would have still did that move, even not feeling safe or not feeling 100%. And I really applaud you for not
Listen,
doing
I almost did. I was like, we're going into a recession and I don't have to pay rent. And so now I actually have to pay rent. That was actually the decision maker for me when I started thinking more about the financial savings than any of the emotional connection about moving in. It became all about, oh, I get to pay off these bills. I get to save this much. We get to do this investment. And I was like, okay, that's not a good reason.
that's a part of it, but that's not the most important part, right? Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else have any questions?
I actually have a question. So I have it's a situationship. I'm not even gonna lie about it. It's a situationship. And you know, he invited me to go on a trip to California for the weekend. And because it's a situationship, I was like, no, I don't want to go on a little fake honeymoon with you playing around like we're really into something deeper than what it is. And you know, we've been kind of dating each other for a year, but it was like the way he positioned the trip was, you know what, like we need to get out of town, we need to get away where it's just us and like we don't have any distractions of work, and like my kids will be here with their mother and blah blah blah. And I could not help but just to feel like this isn't right for me. And he actually he's still angry with me, but you know, the thing that he failed to understand or can't understand is we are not at the level of intimacy where I feel comfortable and safe with you engaging in these types of deeper activities that otherwise signify a deeper relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And he likes to do the thing, like he likes to play house. So it's like, you know, if we're late to a restaurant or something, he likes to do that thing like, yes, hi, my wife made reservations. And I'm like, you know what? Like, listen, you need to step up or, you know, step back.
Right. Well, I mean, do you feel like you guys have had that conversation of, because a year is a long time for a situationship, right? Like, because, you know, we try to cap it at like 6 months. Anything after 6 months it's like, so what we really doing here?
Okay.
Have you guys had that conversation of where it's going? Like, is this going to transition into something else, or is this fizzling out at some point?
Well, for me, I'm like totally fizzled at this point, because if you don't understand why I don't want to go on a little fake honeymoon with you, then I'm 38, okay? Like I don't need to play these games, and you're 37, which means you're old enough to know better. So, you know, for me, it's fizzled. And for him, I think he's still kind of like, but you're my boo, you're my bae, you're my little plaything. Like, you know, I love you, girl. And it's like, listen, like this isn't high school, this is not college, you know, we need to figure out what we're doing or not do anything at all.
Right. And I think that if you're already in that space, once it starts to fizzle, there's like no way to recover. It's like, it's gone. Like you weren't even somebody I wanted to be like my man. So
right
now your role has been terminated. So so to speak, right? Like these people are only employed for a short time, and once they're terminated, that's it. There's no rehiring. So you have to establish okay, like, am I still having fun here? Because if I'm not, I'm out.
Yeah. And I didn't even realize I was at that point until I was just like, no, I don't want to go on some fake romantic trip with you, you know? And I just felt kind of insulted that he even asked me and like positioned it like, this is what we need right now. And it's like, you know what? I just need to go on a series of just like regular dates with you. Okay. Like, no, that's what I need. I need to get to know you to even know if it's good enough to travel with you, because like, I might even want to, you know?
Yep. And it's a pandemic right now. I don't know if I want to risk my life to go anywhere with you. That's a whole nother thing, right? Like these are some real times. Like if you really like somebody, you're willing to risk your life to go spend time with them. Like this is a real thing right now.
Right.
Well, thank you, Candace. I hope you figure out that situationship. But listen, if it's fizzled, let it go.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Question that I have, and I don't know, maybe you can see based on the experience with your clients, is, are men as clueless as they seem sometimes?
Come on now.
I just,
Tell them, Carla girl. Yes.
I'm just asking, because one of my things, do they ever grow up? One of the things that I've kind of realized in me trying to date is there are a lot of aged little boys out here. Gorgeous, great jobs, nice guy, but when it comes to a relationship, they're aged little boys. It's like, do they ever really grow up? Can you tell me? I don't know.
Oh, Carla, we have some men on here. Maybe I should let them answer. But okay, so I will say this. In therapy, do I see, yes, they do grow up. Yes, they do. And honestly, I've been so blessed in this career that mostly men have sought out therapy.
Okay.
And it's the sex therapy at that. I've had more men contact me for them and their partner, or them as individuals, to come in for therapy, which really always shocked me. But it was because they just didn't have the space in their life to talk to somebody else that wasn't going to judge them. So I find such maturity in that, when somebody is ready to actually make some changes in their life and they're willing to come talk to a stranger about it, that knows that they can handle what they have to say and not be judged. So I do see mature men that are coming in wanting to make some changes in their life. And I see so many different layers to men that I don't think women, like if I was outside of this office dating, I would see. And that is what kind of helps me. And I think even through your life coaching, you see all the layers to people, right? And it's hard because for us, we have a very different lens that we look through when we see people. And it's kind of like somebody took the blinders off, right? And it's difficult. But what I've learned about men is they just were not given the space as boys, as children, to like grow emotionally. And so now here they are in a male adult bodies, still trying to grow emotionally. And to some degree, we have to help with that. And to some degree, they have to take accountability for growing that on their own. But I think you listen to your instincts, and your gut instinct always tells you, like, this is probably not going to be the one for me. Or there's just too much work here that I just can't do. Like, you got to go work and do some, like what Lenora said, you got to go do some of that work on your own and then come back. But I've met so many great men, so many, and I think that we just have to be keeping our ears and eyes open for the ones that are really talking our language, and staying away from the ones that we usually go for. Because if we have a type, we kind of stick and stay with dating the same person over and over again, even though it's physically someone different, but the personality is still there. The traits are still there, but we have to be willing to date other people, other races, like other ethnicities, to be able to get some variety. Yeah, that's what I've seen personally and professionally.
I would have to agree. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. But don't keep hope. There are some really, really great men.
There really are. I have to, in my situation, it really is me. I've met some really, really nice guys, but it really is the point of, now that I really know myself, I can pretty much tell really quick, you're great, but I would drive you crazy and you would drive me crazy over time. You're in love with the idea of me, but who I naturally am, if I had to quarantine with you, we wouldn't make it.
Right.
We couldn't live together. No. But I would agree that a lot of guys are really amazing. We spend a lot of time mad at men for the wrong reasons, because we're oftentimes expecting them to do something that they were never taught.
Exactly.
And to give out of a place that they were never given. So I completely agree with that. It's just a conversation that seems to come up a lot of times with women.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Carla. Well, thank you everybody for your Q&A. If anybody has any additional questions, I'll answer them, but we're gonna have our next vendor come on and talk about her corsets. So Elisa, if you wanna take yourself off of mute, you can go ahead and talk to us about what your product is. Let me stop sharing my screen.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing great. Jenifer, thank you so much. This has been an awesome platform, and I'm excited. I'm learning a lot. I'm really digging the candor and the transparency. It's just been awesome. So I'm going to share a little bit of what I'm doing to actually help in a lot of the areas that Jenifer's been talking about today. Again, my name is Elisa Dubois, and my company is Tight Body Makeover, where we help people to turn their love handles into sexy curves and improve their sexual health, okay? So I'm gonna actually share my screen with you guys, and we're gonna talk about some information. Okay. So here is a picture of me when I first started my transformation, and that's actually how my company, Tight Body Makeover, was born. I was at a point where my body was in a shape that I was not happy with. I had poor body confidence. I had no sex life at the time. And I was very self-conscious about my figure. Now, because we're in quarantine right now, and a lot of people have been spending more time together, especially if you have children in the home, some of us, our sex lives are thriving. Some not so much, because we're not used to spending that much time with our significant others often, and it often causes issues. And if you are not at a point where your sexual health is peaking or at least healthy, that can cause even more stress. So with Tight Body Makeover, we like to say that we help to reshape your body, we revive your mind and your vitality, and that helps you to begin to roar again. Now, when I talk about roaring, I'm talking about, you guys remember Eartha Kitt, the actress, and she used to go around kind of with a kind of sultry, sexy purr. She used to go, you know, that kind of thing. That's the kind of roar we want to see you guys come back with once we start learning how to do things a little differently when it comes to improving our sexual health and wellness, okay? All right. So that's me and my transformation and how Tight Body Makeover got started. And then I just want to talk about where we are right now in terms of the pandemic. Everybody's at home right now. As we know, especially in places like New York and China, it's difficult to social distance, but we have to do it. And as a result of this, it causes lots of stress. We've never had to social distance before. We don't have to put on masks and gloves every time we leave the house previously, but now that's the world that we live in. As a result, it causes a lot of stress, and that actually leads into your sex life as well. As a result, believe it or not, we experience malnutrition. Why? Because we're not cooking. We're at home with our significant others and our families, and as a result, we're eating out more, and we're eating in food that is void of nutrients. It's high in calories, but void of nutrients. And a lot of times the very things that we're eating are actually altering our sex life. And we don't realize that. A lot of foods tend to take away your energy, and they can actually harm some of the things that are going on in your body, especially when it is regard to sexual health. And as a result of eating all this bad food, especially during a pandemic, I see so many pictures on social media where people are at home making wonderful comfort food and carbs and cakes and cookies. I don't see people making smoothies and salads and posting those pictures. So as a result of eating poorly, now we are going into a case of potential obesity, especially if you're already overweight. I know a lot of people have gained 10 plus pounds during the quarantine. I see a lot of people posting on social media about, oh, I've gained 10 pounds. Oh, I've gained 15 pounds. And usually once you gain 15 to 20 pounds or more, you can actually go from being overweight and unhealthy to obese. Again, that's causing more and more problems. And when you're not happy and you're not experiencing confidence with your body, of course, that always lends eventually to your sexual health. And on top of everything else, because unfortunately some of us have lost jobs, we've had to close businesses, we've lost streams of income. So it's causing financial issues. And a lot of times when you have heads of household that are having to deal with that, the last thing you want to do is be intimate when you come home, because you need solutions that are going to help in those other areas. And sometimes everything tends to suffer. So with all that in mind, we have some solutions that Thai Body Makeover does a little differently. And again, we talk about reshaping your body, because oftentimes if you just have one little catalyst that can help you to start feeling better, looking better, that actually gives you the motivation to start overcoming some of those other challenges, especially now in this pandemic. And having lost the job or having to close down a business is a big mental and financial burden that oftentimes not just affects your sexual health, but your overall health as well. So we help to reshape the body, we help to revive you from the inside out, helping you feel better. And as a result of all of that, we also learn and position how to start creating multiple streams of income, which is important, especially if you've lost some income, okay?
Excuse me for one moment. Can you open up your slides and make them bigger?
Some bigger, let's see.
I think at the bottom, you can hit the presentation image, the fourth one on the right. Yep.
There we go.
Perfect.
Better?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. All right. Okay, so now here's where we get into what I call the down and dirty. Oftentimes, especially during something like a pandemic, because most of us have not experienced a pandemic with health challenges before. And as a result, like I said, people are eating, and it usually causes an increase in 2 to 3 sizes. You'd be surprised. And think about the number of people that may have mentioned to you about gaining weight during quarantine. As a result, this creates a lot of stress. A lot of people are fighting and bickering more than they're really getting along, and it causes problems and challenges in your sexual health. So if you look at this man and this woman right here, they've actually tapped into a new solution that has helped them. Because if you look at the abdominal cavity of the woman here and of the man, they're extended. And as a woman, when your waistline is more than 35 inches in diameter, it puts you at risk for things like hypertension, diabetes, and it also affects your sexual health, because all this weight right here in the middle of the stomach, that often creates visceral fat, which begins to wrap around your internal organs. And if you have those challenges like hypertension and diabetes, it tends to make them worse. Also, because you've got all this weight and all this pressure, it also weighs on your reproductive organs. So it weighs on the uterus and the ovaries, and oftentimes that constant pressure and pain also affects your interest and your sexual desire. Now, with just a solution that was able to be done without surgery here, look at the difference. Look at the difference of her abdomen there. Also, this gentleman here, extended belly here, no belly here. Now, in a man, when a man's waistline is more than 40 inches in diameter, again, it puts him at risk for certain health challenges. Also, with men, when they have an extended belly like this, it creates a lot of weight, and that weight bears on the prostate. The prostate definitely affects sexual interest and sexual health. So when a man starts to lose this belly and begins to lose weight, he'll notice that he'll start to feel more vitality, more vigor. He'll start to feel different sexually, because just by losing 10 pounds, that helps to pull the weight off the prostate. And here's wonderful improvement right here. So how does this happen? Because right now we can't go to the gym, everything is closed, and a lot of people aren't working out at home just because they've got so many new things to deal with. And that's just another stress factor. So we look at alternate solutions. And I just want to show you guys again, here's 2 women that have experienced the exact same thing. You've got some love handles and some fluffiness here. Again, a lot of this extra tissue weighs on the reproductive organs there, affecting sexual health. Here we seem to be on the way to correcting that particular challenge. Now here, this young lady is so excited. She didn't want to conceal her face. She's just going ahead and showing you everything she's got, because she's very excited about where she was here and now looking at where she is here. Again, Right here is the area of concern because that's where the visible fat starts to wrap around your internal organs, oftentimes pulling and putting pressure on the reproductive organs and affecting sexual health. Okay, so how do we fix that? We ask ourselves a couple of questions. How many people do you know right now who are overweight, but also experiencing challenges with their sexual performance, their stamina, or their endurance, okay? How many people do you know that are experiencing body confidence issues? And it doesn't have to be just us, ladies. A lot of men, especially if they've lost a job or had to close down a business and they're overweight and they have health challenges, that's going to lend over in them feeling their very best. A lot of people are not happy about where they are, especially if they're home stress eating and gaining more and more weight, okay? And again, we talk about losing a stream of income. That's just a big enough stress right there. So here is a possible solution that we'd like to offer. You see this gentleman here, how he has the extended belly. And again, we talk about how this extra weight lays on the prostate, okay? And that causes some challenges. Now, here we are. He's flattened out here. He's gotten rid of some of the fluffiness here. Now, this was done without surgery, by the way. This was done without surgery. And that's the key I want to focus on right here. So how does this happen? How do you go from having this challenge to not having the challenge without having surgery or going through some vigorous, diet and improvement plan? Okay, well, there's something called the science of reshaping. This is Dr. Lionel Kelly, and Dr. Kelly is an orthopedic surgeon. Dr. Kelly created a line of medical grade reshaping garments that help the body to do so many different things. Now, Dr. Kelly explains that the science of reshaping is actually built around the fact that by the time all of us are 30 years of age, and that's men and women, overall, the abdomen begins to deteriorate in terms of pressure. As we get older, that pressure gets less and less, especially for women after they have children, okay? Now, the internal organs, they lose the function to operate at an optimal level, and that's why we experience different challenges with elimination and sexual health, okay? Now, what these garments are designed to do is to help reestablish that pressure to the abdominal cavity so that everything realigns and goes back into place. Meaning, for men, it helps them to pull in that abdominal cavity and pull the weight off the prostate. For women, it helps to minimize and shrink the waistline, again, being able to slightly rearrange those internal organs so that that pressure is reestablished, okay? And oftentimes, when you're younger, of course, you don't have to worry about that, but at age 30, as we get older and more seasoned, that's something that is definitely just happening. It's just a part of life and aging. Now, here's how we handle that without surgery. This is called the abdomen shirt. The abdomen shirt is designed by a company called Artis. It's a company that I've partnered with now for 10 years. Now, this particular solution is a non-surgical solution that helps with several different things. First of all, for our men, it stimulates muscular toning, which means this is actually a shirt they can exercise in if they choose to, or they can wear it to work. They can just sit around the house in it all day. It's a medical grade compression t-shirt. Now, what makes this a medical grade t-shirt different from something you can buy, like say at your local store? First of all, this is not available through a local store because it's a medical grade reshaping garment. And it's also an orthopedic garment that can help you with back support. If you're a person that has back problems, we have a medical code that you can give to your physician to be able to help write this off with your insurance company, okay? Now, as we know, and this is for men and women, when your back is in perfect condition, you're feeling wonderful and confident and everything is working right, we know that we're a little more adventurous and a little more open when it comes to our sexual health, okay? If you have a bad back or you've had an accident where you have to be careful and kind of do things gingerly, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. And so with this garment, it can help with back support. It helps to pull your shoulders back. It helps with bringing more oxygen into the body. And because of that back support, it can actually help so that you start feeling more vitality, okay? And as a result, again, in this area, that's a lot of concern for men, it helps to actually pull in that abdominal cavity, pulling off the pressure off the prostate, and that definitely helps with elimination and overall health as well as sexual health. Now, again, we talk about how aesthetically this shirt helps the man to have a more fit appearance. It also helps to reduce that waist 2 to 3 sizes because, again, as a man, if your waist is more than 40 inches in diameter, it puts you in a category for potentially being more susceptible to diseases and to gaining more and more weight. Okay, and we also talked about the back support, and the product here is also patented. Now, I just want to give you guys a before and after account of one of my clients. This gentleman actually did a 30-day testimonial. He actually wore the men's abdomen shirt for 30 days, and you can see his result here. This is before, this is after. Side view, before, after. Back view, before, after. Now, if you look at him and look at the transformation from the back, side, and front, this is actually 4 inches lost off of the waist and the abdominal cavity within 30 days. How did he do it? He did not exercise. He actually wore the compression t-shirt for 3 to 5 days a week for at least 6 to 10 hours a day. Okay, that's 3 to 5 days a week, 6 to 10 hours a day. And just with wearing the shirt and how it compresses your core, and it's also made of a material called polyamide, which is a thermogenetic fiber that helps to increase your body temperature just enough to not give you a hot flash, but to go ahead and help your body to increase the metabolism and help you to really get those inches off of that waistline area. And see, look how much of a difference that is, because the less weight you have bearing on the prostrate as a man is much, much better for your sexual health. Okay, so we talked about men and how that particular reshaping medical grade garment helps men. Now I want to talk about how it helps women. You can see an account here of the abdomen before and the abdomen after. Okay, now the women's solution, we have a full body medical grade reshaping garment called the Body Magic. Why? Because when you put it on, you feel like it's done magic to your body. It helps to do something called sensationalize your body, which is basically building a better body by demand. Ladies, have you ever wished you were like a genie and can put your arms together and bow your head and make your body just transform? Maybe you've wanted a bigger bust line, a bigger butt, you know, maybe you wanted a smaller waistline. Well, now that's available for a process that's not surgical, but it is a medical grade garment that can help you get the kind of results that you're looking for, okay? Now, it helps to do a lot of things: lift the bust, flatten the stomach, it helps to redefine the waistline, and more importantly, it helps to reestablish the pressure to the abdominal cavity, because this garment helps to realign the internal organs, again, helping with elimination, which is very helpful, but also it takes the pressure off the reproductive organs. And when that happens, you'll definitely begin to notice a feeling better in your abdominal cavity here, but also more energy, okay? Now, here's some of the health benefits. We talked about the aesthetic benefits in terms of the waistline, the breast lift, the butt lift, all those wonderful things. This helps with lymphatic drainage. Lymphatic drainage is important because a lot of us are wearing bras with underwire. The underwire presses onto the lymphatic canal up under the breast, and sometimes it causes kinks and problems with the underwire. Now, as a result, this garment helps to improve that. Again, I talked about how it advances the body temperature just enough to start putting the body into a metabolism increase, okay, to help you start body being more and more thermogenized. Like I said, it's not enough for giving you a hot flash, but it is enough to increase your metabolism, okay? Now, it also gives you a micro massage. This is like putting on a big hug. Your whole body's gonna feel supported. Your back is gonna be supported. Your posture is gonna be improved. It aligns the spine and it redistributes the weight. If you look at just this garment here, when you put all of your love into this garment here, it's gonna redefine your shape. That's going to improve your confidence. It's going to improve your motivation. You'll want to go in the back of your closet and find all these wonderful outfits you haven't worn in years, and your significant other is going to take notice, okay? When you put this on, your significant other is definitely going to take notice. Now, it also suppresses the appetite if that's of a concern. It does that because the core here compresses your torso and your thorax area, and it begins to behave as a behavior modification coach. So it definitely helps with you, especially if you're home snacking during quarantine like a lot of us are doing right now, okay? And again, it helps with oxygenation and rearranging the internal organs. This is the most important feature here because, again, the less weight you have in this area here, the better. As a woman, your waistline should be 35 inches or less. When it's above that, that's when you start getting into problems, especially with weight gain, okay? And a lot of the challenges that we have reproductive wise in terms of some of the challenges and ailments have a lot to do with being overweight, okay? Now, more benefits, again, gives you a flatter stomach. We talked about it pulling back the shoulders. Ladies, those of us that are pear-shaped, meaning that you have more weight on the bottom below your waist than up top, it helps to thin the thighs and the hips. Oh, joy. And that alone helps to redefine your body and your figure. And it basically gives you a new body. I'm telling you, it's like you can be your partner's girlfriend without having them really cheat, because you can really redefine your body and you can look like someone, you know, that's totally different. It's just awesome. It's awesome. And of course, it lifts the butt and does all that wonderful stuff. Now, in addition to the Body Magic garment helping to redefine and rearrange and move around those internal organs, the Angel Bra is a game changer. Why? Because this is 6 bras in one. 6 bras in one, ladies. Now, how does that fare for sexual health? Well, I'm going to tell you, first of all, it's going to help with that lymphatic drainage that I talked about right up under the breastplate here. And it's going to pull up the breast. Most people don't know it, but whether you have small breast or large breast, when you have a bra on, your breast should sit between your 2nd and your 4th rib. If your breasts are still hanging down here and they're intimate with your stomach, you have on the wrong bra. Okay, and like I said, it doesn't matter if you have small breasts or large breasts. When your breasts are not up between that 2nd and 4th rib, they're not supported, okay? And so when you put on this Angel Bra, it's gonna lift up the girls. You're gonna have perkiness going on here. It's gonna help with the back support. It's gonna basically give you that kind of like Marilyn Monroe figure, you know, very much looking like a vixen, very statuesque, because it's gonna put everything together and make you the coup d'etat, okay? This bra is awesome. Now, we talked about it being 6 bras in one. For me, that was like a game changer because we need different bras for different things because it's intimate apparel, of course. But this bra gives you awesome support. And if you are a person that needs to minimize the breast, this bra can do that. If you're going out on a date, let's just say you want to make the girls look a little bigger, this bra can maximize. It can do that. Okay, this bra also equalizes. If you're a woman that has one breast larger than the other, the bra can help to equalize and do that as well. It's also a mastectomy bra. If you're a breast cancer survivor, you can put a prosthetic in it to even out the breast so that only you know what's going on behind the bra, okay? That is a game changer for a lot of women, especially when it comes to confidence, because a lot of times we're not having a lot of relations and our sexual health suffers just because of the confidence and the self-consciousness. So that feature alone really helps our mastectomy patients and our breast cancer survivors increase their confidence so well, okay? We also have this serving as a sports bra. So ladies, if you've ever had to worry about going out and being unsupported while you are exercising, this is an awesome bra. The girls don't move, they don't go anywhere with that. Now, the best feature I like in terms of sexual health about the Angel Bra, it's also a nursing bra. Why is that? Mommy can nurse and she can pull down the cup right from here. Now, of course, that's when she's in mommy mode. But after mommy mode is over and it's time to, you know, have those relations and have some great fun in the evening, the cups still pull down, but the cups pull down for like kind of like an easy access kind of thing. And that makes it super fun and super adventurous. So the bra can go from day to night just for that feature alone, okay? And again, you can equalize and readjust the bust. And the great thing I like is that it does all that with no underwire. This bra has no underwire, nothing in here, but it serves as a push-up bra and a volumizer bra. How does it do that? There's something called a suspension band, which creates a shelf to support the breast. That also helps the breast to constantly look supported and perky, which can be very exciting for both you and your partner, okay? So that's why I said this bra is 6 bras in one. It's a game changer because you can do so much with it, okay? Now, I just want to give you guys a sneak peek at some of the collection of shapewear because This is a game changer. This is not your mama's girdle. This is not your mama's shapewear. Shapewear has redefined, and the company Artist Life has done that. That's the company that manufactures these wonderful, sexy garments, because what they did was they took some of the challenges and problems of shapewear, and they went to work in terms of creating things that went away and took away all the bad stuff and all the complaints about shapewear, and they put in some things that were new and exciting. So as a result, those of us that like to wear bodycon dresses and maxi dresses, you have something like this, the seamless garment. You've got 3 full body garments here. You see the waistline pulled in here. You see how it flattens the stomach and it thins the thighs. This is very popular because of this animal print. So on those evenings when you're feeling a little frisky, want to go to the animal kingdom? Yes, pull out this wonderful high waist animal print girdle here, or you can also put on this wonderful vest. It kind of also double operates as a harness, ladies. So just a little tip there, okay? Wonderful panty illusion that will pull in that tummy. So like I said, you can build a better body on demand. It's sexy, it's cute, it's got the purple color. And ladies, this also has a little butt enhancer in the back here. So that's very, very helpful. And the support bra, okay? Now, this is the one that I'd like to talk about because this one gets a lot of attention. We're going into the summertime. Once we're able to officially go out and play with others in the world and be safe, you're going to see a lot of people wearing this garment and wearing like your sundresses, your strapless dresses, your bodycon dresses, your maxi dresses, all of that, especially since we've been in the house for so long. We're not going to be able to wait to get outside and put on some real clothes and be able to go out and play with others. So this body seamless, it smooths out everything here, smooths out everything. And ladies, look at this. It gives you a little butt lift in the back, which is very, very exciting for a lot of us. So some of those dresses, you want to kind of redefine your figure, give it a little more pop and make it look like you have a little more than you have. I'm telling you, you and your partner will definitely enjoy that. That's a great feature there. And it comes all the way down to the knee, so you can cover all those other little issues. And again, you can kind of turn it into an outfit as well. So that's definitely something to think about. It slims the figure, flattens and controls the abdomen. It corrects your posture, and it lifts up that butt, which is definitely a popular feature. Now, I wanted to talk about the garments and also nutrition, because right now nutrition is key. It's key to your immune support, and it's also key to your sexual health. Because like I said, a lot of us are eating things like fried foods. We're eating a lot of acidic foods that can also alter and change your interest, your desire, you know, your dryness, things of that nature, especially vaginal dryness for women. A lot of the foods that we're eating, especially these comfort foods, they cause those problems. So something like elderberry can be very helpful for both your immune system and for your sexual health, because it helps as antiviral, anti-inflammatory. It can help your body to build up more immune support to help you feel better and help have more protection. It can also help with energy. A lot of us are exhausted because we're having to maneuver and do so much with the family being home so much. So elderberry is something that is in high demand, but it's in low supply because everybody's trying to buy it, whether it's in fresh fruit form or whether it's in powdered form. So we have a new product called Shield, which helps to shield your immune system, but it also gives you all these wonderful benefits. Now, you can see where it helps your immune system, high antioxidants. It has all the things that can help protect your body with vitamin C, B complex, and ginseng. But here's the thing I want to talk about here. This product has been on the market for 60 days. Within the last 60 days, a lot of people have been talking about increased energy. And this is just not energy to wake up early and stay up late. I'm talking about sexual vitality, more sexual desire, you know, being more creative in your sexual health and relations. I mean, I've had so many people tell me they were looking for all this other stuff, but this right here, the increase in energy and desire and vitality, was a bonus, okay? So that's the two-step system I want to talk about in terms of knowing the nutrition that we need to be able to feed our bodies and help put our sexual health into the right direction. And this particular product can help do that, okay? So I want to also talk about here, how can we participate and help to really take advantage of all of this? And right now we have an offer where you can get packages created, The packages will help you to determine if you want to just be a customer with us and create a package, or if you'd like to actually be a global distributor. Now, a global distributor, because we are expanding right now, we're in 77 countries and we're counting, because see, our products are in high demand. That's the one great thing about being in the wellness industry. No matter what's going on with the economy, no matter what's going on with the pandemic, people are still shopping, because there are people that are still working, there are people that are still getting streams of income. So we're looking to expand, and there's an option available for you if you're interested in being a global distributor with us. But if you just like to enjoy the products, yes, thank you.
I really, really appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys are sharing and you're here with me today. So that is it for me. We're done.
So let's hop back into some more Q&A with Jenifer, and then we'll wrap up for the day.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Miss Elisa. Thank you, Sherelle. Yes. So, Miss Elisa, if you can stop sharing your screen, that way we can get back to seeing everybody.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. So, we will, if anybody else has any other questions for me, please feel free to ask them or put them in the chat. And if not, then we'll go ahead and wrap up. But if anybody has any questions for me, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. I really appreciate everybody's time this Saturday, spending it with us to have this very honest, transparent conversation about needs. And I think that it's so important for you to be able to explore what your own needs during this time of transition that we're all in. But also so that you can have a great, happy, healthy relationship.
Jenifer, I have a question.
Okay.
And I'm going back to the guy that I'm talking to now.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little backstory. I've actually been single for 10 years. So
Okay.
this is like my first relationship in a very, very long time. And so we met online, and then that's how we started, like, oh, let's start dating and stuff like that. As far as the pandemic is concerned, you know, I had a lot of scarcity around it. Like, I don't want to meet up with you, but then I just felt so much comfort because he lives alone, I live alone. So we did meet up a couple of times, and
yeah,
the energy was great, you know. Now, again, as I shared earlier, I decided after so here's the thing, this is what has happened over the past 6 weeks. He shared with me like, oh, you know, I really enjoy you. You're the one I prayed for, right? I'm very spiritual. He is too. So we got to that point and I was like, oh, okay. And then he told me he loves me. And I'm like, oh crap. Like, this is fast. Like, this is how it's supposed to go, right? Because in my whole head, it wasn't supposed to go this way. So, but again, what the things that he's lacking, and and so another thing that he does that I'm trying to figure out, and it would be great. I don't know if Terrell's still listening, but it will be really supportive to really get me to understand as far as a man is concerned. So like consistency, right? So like when somebody says they're going to call you back, and I feel like even with a friendship, even with business interaction, when that person doesn't call you back, it just makes, I know for me, it makes me feel like I'm not appreciated, like my time is not appreciated and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So that has been like an ongoing thing with us, is that he'll say he will do something and don't do it. And so just like another quick example, like he was like, are you okay? Cause I'm furloughed. I'm not working right now because of the pandemic. And he's like, how are you? Do you need anything? I was like, yeah, I need water, right? Like just basic essentials, right? Like, and he didn't get it for me. Like I haven't gotten it. And I just feel like I'm so confused. Like if you're going to ask me about something, or asking a question about, hey, how can I support you with this thing? And he doesn't do it. I'm just like, so why ask me, you know? So I just want to make sure, because I was definitely conflicted because I haven't been in a relationship. I don't want to rush into it. Mm-hmm. Was, me saying, should we backtrack was the best thing to do?
I think so. You listened to what you needed. and you're paying attention to the red flags and not even trying to paint them green, which I think is super important, because I feel like a lot of times when people have been single for a long time and someone comes and presents all these red flags, we're willing to like paint them green just so we can kind of still have somebody around.
Mm-hmm.
But in those 10 years, you've learned a lot about yourself,
Right.
and what you need and what you want in a partner. And if that's not what he's presenting to you, listen to yourself. Listen to what you actually need. And it sounds like that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think you have to have that conversation. You have to kind of call out those behaviors so that he is aware of them. And once you call them out and you give him time to actually, you know, like change them,
Mm-hmm.
if he doesn't, then you know he's just not, you're gonna have to move on. But if you give him the space to actually change them and he does, then it sounds like he's willing to meet you where you're at.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. But listen to yourself. Listen to your instincts. You were single for a long time. You know yourself better than anybody. So you know when someone comes into your space, if they're going to be a good fit for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for that question.
So I have a question, Jenifer.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep it spicy during this time of quarantine with your partner?
Oh, there's lots of ways.
So it's not like the same routine, you know?
Buying, so incorporating toys into the bedroom right now is something, like those sales are on the rise, right? Because people like to buy toys, and they don't usually maybe have the time to explore it as much, but now that you're both at home, you have that time. So there's lots of good toys. It just depends on what you're into. You can buy a vibrator, you could buy a smaller one that's like a bullet that you can use together. Some of the ones I have here, I don't have my whole slew of toys with me today, but I have some. This is actually a remote control and a vibrator. And this one actually fits like into your panties. There's like a groove here. So it fits like slide it right into your panties. And then your partner can control how the vibration is. It comes with like several different pulse patterns. So it's kind of fun because if you're in the house together and, you know, like you're in one room working and your partner's in another room working or doing whatever, they can always just hit the button. And then you're getting zapped from the other room and you're not even sure what pulse pattern it is or how long it's going to last, but they have the control. And that can be pretty fun. This is also really fun on a date because it's just like only you two know that it's happening. You know, nobody else knows. And like that element definitely spices it up. So yeah, so this is one toy. This is, I will put it's called Oh Sensual. You can get these on their website. And I'll put it in the chat as well. Okay, I'll put their website and their Instagram in the chat. So that's one way. This is a good time to also talk about some things that you guys want to try together. You know, people always kind of have those conversations, but then they don't really follow through with them. So this is a good time to actually talk about like, hey, what's some stuff like you've been wanting to try? And then have that discussion of like, okay, I feel comfortable with that, or maybe I don't feel comfortable with that. So you can explore that. Some people never really watch porn together, but this might be a good time to explore that. If you want to spice it up, you could watch before just to get aroused. Some people have actually had sex while watching it. I don't always advise trying to do what they've done in the porn because that's sometimes it's unrealistic. But it can add a different element to the bedroom and spice it up. But for people that are quarantined at home, maybe trying some different rooms in the home is one way of just stepping outside of your comfort zone. So there's some different ways. And just because you're home doesn't mean that you still can't get sexy. You know, like I know some people want to just be living in their sweats and their PJs, but like put on some lingerie. I mean, like we've had different people on here talking about lipstick and corsets and stuff today. So like put on something sexy that makes you want to walk around the house or cook a meal in lingerie, or even for a man to just be able to put on something that your wife or partner really loves to see you in. You know, like you still have to want to keep your partner engaged and aroused even though you're at home. So those are just a few ways. Couple other things I have here. I have a cock ring. A cock ring are also fun because you put it over top of the penis, and then there's a vibrator at the bottom of it. So if a girl is on top, when you're riding, it will rub up against the clit. Or if you're having sex, it could still be pressed against your clit. If you turn it around, it can actually fit underneath the balls because the cock ring's very stretchy. So then it's right there vibrating against his balls. So that can be also fun. Ladies, you can also use this when giving a blowjob. So cock rings are very versatile. I have these here. They're called nipple nibblers. Which is just like a nice little cream. It just provides like another like element. So like you just put it on your nipple so that way it tastes yummy for your partner, or you can even put it on your partner's nipples too. I've had guys that like that as well. But this is also like, I like to put this on when I know that I want to initiate sex. So that way when I do take off my bra, there's a whole different surprise there for him that he didn't anticipate. So I like nipple nibblers because they allow you to, you know, like put a little element in there that he wouldn't even know. Or sometimes he's tasting it so good and he thinks it's just you. So I think that those are also some good ways to just spice it up. I have massage oils here too. And, you know, like the spas are closed right now. So why not do a spa day at home for your partner or with your partner where you guys take a bath together and you give each other massages or you give each other facials or, you know, you rub each other down. Like those are still things that you could do at home that are relaxing. It's nice and it's an intimate time for you too. So those are just some ways that I think you can spice it up during the pandemic. Does anybody else have any other questions before we wrap up and close out for today's workshop? My information is on the screen, so you can email me if you have any additional questions or would like to book a session at sextherapistjen@gmail.com. Or you can find me on Instagram at sextherapistjen as well. On Instagram, I post all about different workshops that I do or other platforms that I'll be on doing workshops or being interviewed for. So please reach out to me. I'm an open book, so I'd love to be able to converse with those who want to make some changes in their life to get to a happy, healthy place.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to say thank you and I appreciate it. You know, this was very helpful for me, especially, you know, in my little situationship. And I just wanted to encourage everyone to reach out to the sponsors and give them feedback. If you thought that this was helpful and this is like a series that you would like BPM to continue, let us know, because our fantastic event coordinator, Sherelle, she is a business too, and she would love to honor that. So we want to find the content that you guys support and engage with. We also are looking for more vendors. So if you are a business owner yourself, please feel free to reach out to Sherelle and our team so we can coordinate that for you guys and continue to support you in your efforts. But please support our vendors today and tell them how wonderful that they were and how encouraging this was for your overall sexual health and well-being.
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate everyone's honesty and vulnerability. That is what makes a great workshop, when everybody can be open and vulnerable. And I encourage you all to go and be open and vulnerable with your partners today and like in the rest of your relationship. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, BPM, for this platform today. And stay tuned for future dates of when we will do things like this again, or even we're going to have some special sexy date nights that we're talking about having in the future. So stay tuned for more updates. Thank you, everyone. Have a great Saturday.
Thank you. This was great, Jenifer. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so glad everybody had a good time.
Thank you guys. This really was awesome.
This was
No
awesome.
problem.
Thank you. It was so freeing and empowering. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so
More
glad to
sex
hear
talk.
that. So glad to hear that. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Terrell, for being the man that gave us some perspective.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I hope you get that silence you need in your life. All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care and be safe, everyone.
Mm-hmm.